Recording and get started here with the briefing. Good morning. This is Sam with the National Weather Service office here in Wakefield. This will be the Thursday briefing covering the weather for the end of the week, the weekend, and the first part of next week. In terms of just the highlights, pretty quiet overall. It looks like the dry weather is going to persist through the end of the week and the weekend. And I know the big story weather-wise over the country has been Hurricane Milton past couple days. It has emerged offshore of Florida this morning. It is still a hurricane per the latest Hurricane Center update. However, it is quickly undergoing kind of a post-tropical transition, so kind of more towards a fall-winter type system as it interacts with a mid-latitude system. But the center, as of 11 a.m. here, is offshore of the eastern Florida coast, and through tomorrow and into the weekend, low will kind of spin down and then move eastward and then well offshore by the weekend. And then in terms of temperatures, next couple of days, kind of we stay below normal, and then but for the weekend, we do have a increasing trend for the temperatures, so they do return back to above normal levels just for a bit this weekend, and then we do have another strong cold front that moves through early next week, and that brings much cooler weather, probably the coolest air mass of autumn so far for next week. On the marine side, we do have small craft advisories in effect for most of the marine area, except the far upper rivers, with the pretty good pressure gradient over the area with the low spinning to our south. So we could have a few gusts up to 30 knots. That's through tomorrow morning. And then the seas and waves on the bay remain elevated as well. In terms of just the hazards here, like I said, we do have small craft advisories for all of most of our marine areas. We still do have a high risk of rip currents for the Virginia Beach and Outer Banks beaches down here. And then just for the rest of the area, nothing to pass along. There is some frost and freeze concerns well west of the area in the higher terrain, particularly I-81 corridor here and points west into the mountains of West Virginia. But like I said, no freeze or frost concerns for our area, at least over the next couple of days. We will have to watch next week behind that strong front, but as of now, no widespread frost or freeze concerns. In terms of the weather pattern next couple of days, like I said, we have Hurricane Milton offshore of Florida this morning. We do have high pressure still over the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes up here, so that's keeping us mainly dry. And that kind of continues in the weekend as the remnant low from Milton moves further offshore, and then high pressure stays in control. And then I did mention that strong cold front moves through. This is Monday morning of next week, and that would likely create quite a cool air mass over the area next week. So pretty expansive cool Canadian high pressure in control likely for most of next week. And then this front again will likely be another dry cold front passage. So there's very little chances of rain over the area over the next week or so. Can't rule out a very brief sprinkle or shower along the front, but almost everything points to it being mainly dry for now. Like I said, not much in the way of measurable precipitation. Could be a few sprinkles here or there, but nothing substantial. In terms of the temperatures next couple days, we are below normal today and tomorrow, so highs mainly in the 60s and lower 70s. And then we do warm up for the weekend as the flow kind of shifts to the south and southwest. The warmest day as of now looks like Sunday, right before that front, moves in from the west Sunday night, Monday morning. So high temperatures Saturday in the mid to upper 70s, and then a good chunk of the area could flirt with 80 for Sunday. And then, Monday's our transition day with the front, so kind of probably cooler over the north and west. Might sneak in a couple 70s over the southeast, and then, by the middle of next week, we're talking about highs in the lower 60s, perhaps some areas struggling to get out of the 50s. So it'll certainly feel like autumn next week. Low temperatures pretty much through the period do stay rather chilly, mainly in the 40s, some 50s tonight and tomorrow night. And then for the weekend, like I said, there is that slight moderating trend. And then, back to the cool nights for next week. Could be, several upper 30s, perhaps mid 30s, becoming quite common, by the middle of next week. So, like I said, very low chances of rain, pretty much no chance of rain at all through Saturday. And, as that front gets kind of close, could be 10-15% chance of a brief shower or sprinkle. But again, that doesn't add up to anything substantial. So for the marine side, pretty solid small craft conditions. Probabilities are medium to high for sustained small craft and gusts to 25 knots over the bay. This is for the rest of today, tonight, and through tomorrow morning. There is very little chance for anything higher than small craft conditions, however. So for the threat potential next 5 days, again, the main threat is for today and tonight. This is with wind gusts 25 to 30 knots over both the ocean and on the bay. We could have waves on the bay approaching 3 to 5 feet, hence the potential significant threat of that marine threat in the bay. And then we kind of taper off lower winds and waves, diminishing winds and waves for tomorrow, especially later tomorrow. And then Saturday looks like our calmest day, so very little marine issues on Saturday. And then for Sunday night, and then especially into Monday with that front. So both with the front, prefrontal, there could be very gusty southwest winds over all the waters. And then in the wake of the front, when the winds turn to the northwest and north, again, a period of small craft conditions. So for the Sunday night, through most of next week, there's a solid chance of small craft conditions every day. So here's our max wind gusts over the next 3 days. This will be mainly for today and tonight. So it can be gusts up to 25, 30 knots over the bay and in the ocean. And then the, max wave heights could, be 3, 4, possibly up to 5 feet with the strongest northerly surge tonight. And then the waves or the seas over the ocean average 4 to 6, perhaps up to 7 feet, closer, farther out in the ocean. And then these do come down later tomorrow as the winds die off and, Hurricane Milton departs further offshore. So small craft advisories go through at least tomorrow morning, and then they likely drop off for Saturday. And Saturday, like I said, is our calmest day on the marine, and then again picking up for early next week. Here's an overview of the maximum wind gusts, maximum waves. We see the northerly winds today, the diminishing winds for Saturday, early Sunday, and then they do pick up again, the southwest winds Sunday night, Monday morning, and then the winds do shift again and remain elevated for most of next week. And that's same for the seas and the waves. In terms of the wave forecast here, I won't get too much into this here. We do have quite a bit of conflicting wave directions, which can, kind of create a higher threat of, for marine concerns in the over the waters and in the lower bay especially. So, and then for our offshore forecast, there could be, those higher seas persist for quite a bit longer than the nearshore seas. So as Hurricane Milton departs further offshore. In terms of any tidal flooding concerns, not too much to pass along. There is a low end threat for some nuisance tidal flooding with the upcoming high tide this afternoon. But beyond that, it doesn't look like too much concerns on the tidal flooding front. So this will be the last weekend we do issue our rip current risk forecast, but as of now, For today and tomorrow, we do have a high threat for rip currents for Virginia Beach southward onto the Outer Banks, with a moderate threat for our northern beaches up towards Ocean City. And then, like I said, a moderate or high rip continues into Friday, so same forecast tomorrow. And then for the weekend, likely at least a moderate risk Saturday with those residual swell in the water, and then likely a decreasing threat Sunday as the winds kind of turn offshore and the waves decrease. So again, this will be the last week we do issue the surf zone forecast for the rip currents. That will resume probably towards the end of May for next spring. So, and then in terms of temperatures next week, it's like behind that front, we stay chilly, so below normal temperatures are favored next week. And then pretty much near to below normal temperatures are, precipitation is expected for next week. So, and again, our normals are pretty much in the low to mid 70s as of now, with normal lows in the 50s, around 50 to the lower 50s, except along the coast, upper 50s. So again, not too much to pass along, for the land areas at least, dry through the weekend, and then warmer for the weekend as well. And then we return to cooler weather next week behind a cold front. So